Okay, so yeah, let's take a look at what Andrew has to say about the whole thing with the quartering potentially having potentially having been the person to take down Kino Casino's channel. Given the preponderance of evidence that we saw, I'm curious granted a lot, the evidence in and of itself does feel circumstantial, but the evidence thus far is circumstantial, but there are no coincidences. So I'm curious what Andrew's take on this is.
Jeremy Hambly of The Quartering may have put himself in legal hot water in his fight with the Kino Casino boys and his apparent flagging campaign. We're going to get into today on The Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney. This is a fast facts video, the quick and dirty version of the latest in legal news. So looking at how the Quartering has legally trapped himself. So of course we have in this corner as the defendant here today, Jeremy Hambly of the Quartering, who's ran a very large YouTube for a long time. Many people know him for his commentary on social issues, yes, politics, and other gaming issues. But he's
by the way, this is totally off topic here. Look at what running his channel the way he's run it has done. This, I think, was him a couple of years ago. I'm reasonably sure this is him from probably about 5+ years ago. And this is him now. Look at the stark differences between approximately 5 years ago and recently. He's not looking healthy. He's looking incredibly stressed. He's looking tired. He's not looking well. Now, I believe he used to drink. He is an alcoholic and he used to drink. I thought I'd seen something that said that he was sober, but maybe he's had a relapse. He still very much drinks. Okay, so he still very much drinks. Well, there it is. But look at what a difference 5 years of just constantly being angry does to someone.
Issues, but he stepped in it in a fight with the Kino Casino boys. That is Ashton, or PPP, and a very good photo of him right there. And of course, Andy Worski. Now, these guys are well known on the internet for poking fun at people, for kind of making light of their drama and other issues. One of the big instances, well, they'll try to bait people in, was with iDubbbz, who got baited into a battle between him and the Kino Casino boys, which just ends up propelling them even more, as the internet does. When you engage with it, it goes crazy and goes viral. Well, the latest thing to go,
which, again, off topic, this is why I've largely stopped responding or posting about Sato/Ray, is because it is giving him the attention that he wants. And it's why he's basically, his schizo posting has rocketed into the stratosphere, is because he's getting a lot of attention. He's got these watchdog Twitter accounts that are keeping an eye on him, that are reposting his tweets. It's ratcheting up the insanity, and it's basically kicked his mental illness into overdrive, and it's why he's schizo posting constantly right now, is he's getting the attention that he wants. And it's why I've basically stopped responding to anything. I did one post on it today, but otherwise I haven't been responding to anything. We keep track of them, but I haven't been responding. And honestly, I think if these watchdog accounts stopped posting about him, if he stopped receiving the attention that he is clearly wanting and feeding off of, I think his account would dry up pretty quickly without that attention.
Viral with the Kino Casino boys is with the Quartering. So the Kino Casino boys, Ashton and Andy Worski, mocked Jeremy Hambly for being a, well, let's call it a corner chair sitter. You guys,
cuckold. They called him a cuck. I know Andrew has to protect his monetization. I don't have to worry about that. They called him a cuck.
guys know what that implies, and calling into question his relationships, including with friends and other people that may have had an impact on his personal life. We'll leave it at that. And also calling in question some of his other interactions with women and his interaction with other people that are really questionable. And Jeremy Hambley didn't like that. He not only responded to that, trying to debunk these things, but he eventually got so mad in this battle with the Kino Casino boys that he openly threatened their social media. He came out and said, I can take them down, I can take them out. Well, shortly after that, channels started disappearing, both the Kino Casino Clips channel and other channels, Andy Worski's personal channel. And now even Clippers are losing videos and having their videos taken down after this campaign.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, I could correct me if I'm wrong. As I understood it, the Casino Clips channel, the Clippers channel that he was talking about, was Kino Casino's channel, but it was run by and monetized by their editor. It was their channel. It was their official clip channel, but they didn't basically make any money off it. The money all went to their editor. What was it? Slake? I think it's, or Flakes. Their editor Flakes ran that Clips channel and he received the monetization from it. The Kino Casino boys said they received zero monetization from it. They don't receive any money from it. They don't receive any money from YouTube. Their editor is the one that basically owned, operated, and received the monetization from the channel, and he took and that's what got taken down. So it didn't hurt Kino Casino, it hurt a completely innocent bystander.
So we can look at the evidence here and we see the public evidence which was posted. These are conversations between Josh Moon of the Kiwi Farms and the Quartering saying, Josh, can we agree I can take their kick in YouTube, right? If I actually wanted to, they would be deplatformed outside of DLive in a week. I don't want that.
Yeah.
I just want them to leave my family alone. I don't care how many Jeremy is a cluck videos they put out. I have a non-Pajit YouTube rap. I love the language there. You know that, right?
I pulled that out yesterday.
Gone. I have endured a lot with literally the tiniest request. So you can see here, there's very clear language threatening. I mean, this is an unambiguous threat. And he's even saying how he's going to do it. His preferred method with his contacts and connections is to pick up the phone and to call. And you can see here he kind of reinforces this when there's a question saying, an assumption I see being made is that you, the Quartering, have God mode reporting powers on YouTube. Is that true? He confirms this and says, yes, all I have to do is press a button and poof. I also shouldn't even have to report the channels either, apparently. So once again, he's confirming his ability. He's saying, I have this power to do this thing. And with all situations implied, once again, these channels going down, it can only be assumed that that was him. That's a very safe assumption based on that timing.
And by the way, while the Quartering is like professing I didn't do this, he has been known to drunk tweet. He's been known to drunk message. Excuse me. He's been known to drunk message. It stands to reason he would also be known to drunk dial. Who's to say that he didn't drunk message, drunk dial his YouTube rep and say, I want them gone? And for some reason, the YouTube rep said, okay, and did it. While he's going, I didn't do it. Who's to say that he wasn't like blackout drunk when he did this? And maybe didn't come across as drunk. And so the YouTube rep went, okay. No, who knows? Again, speculation, freely admitting this is speculation. I have zero concrete evidence to substantiate any of this. But either being drunk or not drunk, all the circumstantial evidence does strongly point to Jeremy reaching out to YouTube, reaching out to his rep that he has at YouTube and getting the Clips channel taken down.
It's not something where these channels would magically disappear where they've been up for quite a while amidst this conflict and amidst these threats. And you can even see that other channels, and this is a smaller channel, Alyssa Clips, are having their channels and their videos hit as well. When they clip things, when they post them on YouTube, they're coming down and getting hit by mysterious reporting. So what do we see here? Well, we see the Quartering denying this and saying if the Keno Casino was wrongly banned for ban evasion, I 100% think they should be restored. So he's saying, oh, if they were wrongly. So, it's kind of hiding his
Let's
belief
see if Andrew
that it was
points out what I did.
and hate their guts, but I think it's a mistake. YouTube should fix it. I already proved beyond a doubt I didn't do it, whether they wanted to believe it or not. Now that doubt is coming into question.
Okay, so he may not say it. So this is something I pointed out yesterday. And while this is not evidence to suggest that he actually did that shit, one thing I pointed out is when he posted this, if he was realistically, if he was being legitimate in his statement here about, oh, YouTube should fix this, is he would have tagged YouTube. He would have atted YouTube and Team YouTube to fix it. If he was being serious in what he did, because whenever, we see this on Twitter, there's an established pattern. There's established behavior pattern that when someone runs into an issue with YouTube where they get a warning, they get a copyright, they get a community guideline strike, their video gets unfairly taken down, their entire channel gets unfairly taken down, and they put out a call for help on Twitter, the response by people is practically every response to that call for help Twitter post, especially by users of notable name that have a very large audience, is they will at YouTube and Team YouTube when they do this to try to make sure that YouTube and Team YouTube get pinged on Twitter. Jeremy didn't do that. And every sizable Twitter user who is a sizable YouTuber or is a sizable streamer, when they're basically saying YouTube needs to fix something, they are atting YouTube, and they are atting Team YouTube in their Twitter statements, because that's the only way to communicate with YouTube when you are a pleb and don't have a representative, and that's how you get their attention. He did not at YouTube on this, which in my eyes means that he doesn't actually mean what he says here. Because if he did, he knows how this shit works, okay? He's been around long enough that he knows how this shit works. So if he was being legitimate about this, he would have tagged YouTube and Team YouTube in his post to get their attention. And he didn't.
Beyond a doubt, I didn't do it, whether they wanted to believe it or not. Now, that doubt is coming into question now. First of all, we have his previous statements, but then we have more evidence coming out that it may indeed have been him. So we had this revealed. This was revealed by the Kiwi Farms, which watched one of his clips where he had...
Thanks for your report to YouTube. Gee, I wonder who that could have been too.
Clicked his search bar, and when you look at that search bar carefully, you see these YouTube support tickets, right? You see several YouTube support tickets. Thank you for your report to YouTube, and a YouTube support ticket there, which came out right after this happened. So the timing of those reports, very, very, very suspicious. Now, of course, Quartering came back trying to counter this, kind of in full scramble mode, saying nobody is interested in the truth, so I don't know why I bother, but these psychos will just move the goalpost again. But again, my updated report history. Dozens of channels stating as a fact I took down their channel, which I understand should be back up soon. So he's trying to say, hey, look, here's my report history. Of course, we cannot know whether that's his actual...
Yeah, again, he's posting this up like he's literally doing a trust me, bro. All of this, look at my updated report history. Trust me, bro. This really is my updated report history. Just trust me on that.
Full report history. And also, and I think the bigger thing is that he asserted that he did this perhaps by phone call and by use of a backchannel connection. And this is bolstered by Yellow Flash, who actually reached out to somebody with connections to YouTube. And this is what they had to say. The YouTube individual. They said, just for your own peace of mind, I pinged one of our guys last night about the quartering drama. His estimation based on the back end is that the casino was taken down from a personal request because all the user reports were deemed nonsense by the automated system all week, except a privacy claim that also failed to hold up to manual review. He's on the security side, but did say this is almost certainly an off-platform point of contact call,
there it is.
email, text that resulted in manual channel deletion. So one
which would not show up in his report history. If he did this, quote unquote, off the books, it wouldn't show up in that reporting update history that he tried to basically, present to everybody and go, see, I'm innocent. Here's my update, my report update history. See, there's nothing in here. But if he back channeled it, it would never show in his YouTube studio.
Once again, going back to that original theory that there was a call here to get these channels taken down. And so that's where we get into our argument for legal liability, civil liability, and that is tortious interference. And that's the most clear case here. Now, tortious interference requires 4 things. Existing of an economic relationship. Well, Kino Casino and the others that were taken down, Andy Worski's personal channel, Alyssa Clips, etc., are all monetized channels. They were profiting off of that. And that's something that we know is valid and existed.
To that, I would say the fact that the Clips channel was monetized and run by the editor and not by Kino Casino themselves, I think would be immaterial. It was a monetized channel, and so therefore there was a monetary incentive at play. So just for point of clarity, I think that where the economic relationship, I think what Andrews is basically saying is they were monetized in and of themselves, and because they were monetized, there's a monetary loss of some form to somewhat, not necessarily strictly to Kino Casino, but in some way.
We also know that Jeremy Hambley knew about this relationship. He knew they were monetized. In fact, he commented that they were making $10,000 a month or something to that degree on their YouTube content and threatened to have that taken away, that revenue taken away. Is there an intentional act to disrupt or intervene? Well, that's where getting the contact, making the call, that's intentional. He did that with the intent of taking those down. So that's an intentional act. Now, improper means and improper motive, that's all about false flagging and false reports. That's where the false reports come in. What exactly did Jeremy Hambley say to his contact or connection to have them taken down? Did he just say, I don't like these guys, take them down, boys, or whatever else? Now, we don't know that yet, but that's certainly something that would come out in discovery. All of those calls, emails, text messages, DMs, whatever else that Hambley may or may not have sent to YouTube support or his connection could be discoverable. So here's my judgment. My judgment is that Quartering has put himself in a position through all of his behavior for very real tortious interference lawsuit. It's very possible that they could file this lawsuit. Now, I'm not saying they would necessarily win. I'm not saying in the end this might be a muddled situation, but they could file that lawsuit in YouTube's home of California or in Jeremy Hambley's home of Wisconsin, in those states. And by filing those lawsuits, they would get discovery, they would get calls and emails. And Jeremy Hambley is no stranger to lawsuits. He's sued people before. But as a plaintiff, it's much different being on the defendant's side and seeing what that would expose and what that would bring to light. Of course, I'm no fan of false flagging, and I'm certainly a fan of keeping information up if it's proper, if it's not violating the TOS. I think that's a right thing to do.
Hang on, I'll let it finish off. There's one thing that Andrew didn't mention is the discovery would also include discovery against YouTube, which that in and of itself could be big. If they can do discovery against YouTube and basically tap into their moderation and how they're facilitating moderation, that there is potential there for things to sort of blow up. Because depending upon how they do the discovery, they could start getting into, it could reveal why so many channels are getting slapped for bullshit. Depending, like if YouTube tries to say, oh, it was our AI, well, then they could do discovery and how is your AI doing moderation? And they could basically pull how YouTube's AI is doing moderation and expose, okay, YouTube's AI is falsely flagging not only my client's channel, but multiple other channels, and they're not doing anything to correct it. So this is like, it's very possibly outside of the realm of what we'd see if this case was brought, but it does give the potential of exposing how YouTube's AI moderation is working and how it is screwing over many, many channels, myself included. Now, will that happen? I doubt. Realistically, I do doubt, but it would be amazing if it did.